Hey guys, we're here at a new job where there was an attic leak. So basically, we got up in there, found the leak, and then we discovered that all the connections in the walls were shark bites. And that's okay if it's outside of the wall because you can replace it and you have to replace it eventually. But inside the wall, they're just kind of a mess. They used to be the way to go, but now with PEX and all these different systems, it's just not as trustworthy. And so we wanted to go ahead and rip that out for the client. So basically behind all these walls, we repiped it with PEX. Okay, so I'm going to walk around and show y'all all the sections where we replaced the shark bites with the PEX B system. Okay, so we started in this area because this is where the water leak was. There's already drywall up, unfortunately, but it's running all back through this wall. It goes up into the attic and it branches out. If you come back here, this is where the water heater goes, and this is also the back of the shower. So as you can see, we have our PEX B system running all through this wall. We just have this connected right now because we couldn't put the water heater in yet. So this was just a test water, so it's just all running continuously through there just to make sure we don't have any leaks or anything like that. Okay, so this is where the initial connections were. We took all those copper pipes out and we actually dropped down through the attic down into here. That way, that was just a lot harder to get to. You can't really drill down there. The people did it when the house was first built, so obviously they had better access. And this also kind of knocks two birds out with one stone because we're feeding the shower and the hot water heater kind of all in one wall. So basically, dropping down through the attic, this is our cold connection right here. You can tell because it's blue. Our hot connection is running through this wall. If you look at this little patch here, we try to keep our patches small if we can because obviously you don't want to tear out a ton of drywall and do a ton of it. So yeah, that's dropping, the hot water's dropping down from the attic through there and then into the side of the shower. So you can see the cold water line running through there on the right side. Cold is always going to be on the right and hot will always be coming from the left. It's a little bit hard to see, but you can see the red line running back through there. Okay guys, so a vanity goes right here, which we're going to put back. So as you can see up here, we dropped cold on the right and hot on the left, right down, and then we stubbed it out through the wall so that we can connect under our vanity sink. And then we also ran our lines through these walls back here in the bathroom. You can't see it, but it's running right through here through the studs. And then we stub it out right there so that we can connect our toilet. Okay, so the final area that we had to run all of our new PEX lines through is back here under the sink. It's easy to drop down through the attic because then you can easily put all your connections like your T's and stuff just in one spot and they'll just go directly where they need to rather than running through walls and doing all this crazy stuff. So yeah, as you can see, they drop down through the attic and they're running through here. There's a little piece of drywall in here, but as you can see, there's hot and cold running up through the sink. It was really hard to get down in here because we're also stubbing out of the back wall, back behind that drywall. And you have to make sure that it's really tight. That way when you're putting a spigot on there, it's not super loose. It was hard to get back there and strap it down, but we got it done and looks good. Another thing that was really hard is we had to pull out this cabinet backing, which was just necessary, I mean, to run these hoses because you have to crimp everything down and reconnect it all. So it's just something that you have to do if you get in this situation. It was really hard to pull this side of the cabinet out. So basically we took a multi-tool all the way around and that was still like we just couldn't get it out. So we had to drill these big holes, put our fingers through there and then yank it out because it's part of the whole cabinet system. So yeah, sometimes you run into some weird stuff like that, but when we go through and we run the hoses through, you put a little plate right there around the hose and it will cover up all this damage. So. And that's where our water lines are going to run through now, so the holes are actually necessary. So it didn't end up ruining the cabinet or anything. Okay, so as you can see, this is the old spigot. We weren't able to access that line. It's just really difficult to get in there once the house is already built and you're not doing it from bottom up. So this is that part that I was talking about under the sink. This is where we popped out for our new spigot. And yeah, so it's really tight going in and out. And then we also stubbed out another spigot right here on this side of the house, because this is where our water was running in and it's really easy just to connect into that and stub that out rather than connecting into the old one, which is also, again, really hard to access for us. Okay, so this is where we had to abandon our old copper pipe running into the house and add our new PEX B system. As you can see with this connection, we weren't able to use a Viego Pure Flow. It was actually a metal connection, so we have this little ring with that little crimp to bite it down. So this is the PEX system that we use. This is called PEX B. Whenever you're dealing with PEX B, you're going to want one of these tools. This is a short throw press. It basically crimps these connections. These are Viego Pure Flow crimp connectors. There's all different types. There's 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and inch. These two, the 1/2 inch and the 3/4, are the most commonly used. Okay, when you're shopping for your different connections, not every place is going to carry these ones. So sometimes you'll come across these metal ones. You'll just need to make sure that they say PEX. A lot of them are by the Apollo brand. And that just means that the PEX will actually attach to that. And instead of crimping these little metal rings down, like on this one, on that system, you have these little rings and you put it over. So basically with this system, you're going to put the little ring on top of that. You're going to show a little bit of the blue, and then you're going to take your metal PEX connection and you're going to put it in there like that, real tight. And then there's this little thing on top, and there's a different crimp tool that you're actually going to bite down on that, and that's what's going to clamp it into place. So yeah, you'll come across that. But we like to use this system, so we'll show you how to do that. When you're getting whatever piece you're getting, you're going to take these little cutters. They cut PEX, PVC, different things like that. When you're putting this cutting tool on there, you just want to make sure it's as straight as you can possibly get it. That way, when you're doing the connection, there's no possible spots for, you know, leaks and stuff like that. So that's going to be a really straight cut. And then basically you just take your little connection, you slide it in there. You want to see there's little holes, and you want to see the blue PEX popping through. That means it's totally in there and it's sealed. After that, you want to go through with your short throw press tool. Make sure you have the 3/4 head on there. You're just going to open this baby up, put it on there nice and straight, and then you press the button, and that'll crimp it down. Pulling that trigger will do all the work for you. It's now totally tight and secure, and there will be no leaks. Stay true, baby. Okay, on your short throw press tool, not every head is going to be the same. So basically, you're going to want to switch it out whenever you're working with 1/2 inch or 3/4 or inch. You press that in, pull that out, and then this just pops right out. And then you can take your 1/2 inch, slide it in, press it in, and lock it. And now this one's ready to go for 1/2 inch. Whenever you're going through with your connections and your fittings, every single connection that you put on, make sure you crimp it right there and then, because otherwise you'll start to get ahead of yourself and you'll forget, and then when you test water, there's going to be a massive leak. Okay, so this is pipe insulation. They make it in all the different sizes of hoses, so you want to make sure if you're using 3/4, you're using 3/4 insulation. Basically, you're going to want to do this on all the exterior walls and also up in the attic, because they are exposed, or they're more exposed to the extreme temperatures, and you just don't want any issues with, you know, freezing and stuff like that. So yeah, always make sure to insulate on your exterior walls and up in your attic. Interior walls don't matter as much. I mean, you could do it if you wanted to. It's not going to hurt it, but it's not necessary. So basically it just has this little split in it. You just open this apart, you put your PEX up in there, you just smush it on there, you take this off, and it just glues together. Just gonna peel that, and then you just squeeze it together. It's all glued together and insulated. Another tip is whenever you're repiping a house, in this case we already have the drywall back on because we've checked the water, but you want to make sure you leave all the drywall off and expose all the different pipes and connections. That way you can turn the water on slowly and see if anything's leaking, needs to be re-crimped, or just any issues with leaks. So in our experience at this job, actually up in the attic, we had forgotten to crimp down one of the connections. So when we slowly turned on the water, it started pouring out, which is a great example as to why you don't want drywall up on there, because then you ruin your brand new drywall, which just is more expense, more time. Leaving the drywall off, we were able to see that, catch it, crimp it, try it again, and everything else was perfect. No leaks or anything like that. So yeah, now we're all good to go. We can hang drywall and start mudding and getting this place all fixed up. Okay, so something that we like to do whenever we're testing water, we'll call each other, we'll be on the phone. That way we can tell the other person to stop the water really quickly if there is a leak, and just so that we can communicate about how things are going. The people on the inside are just listening and checking every connection for any type of leak. Another good thing to have is ram board. That keeps the place cleaner on all your pathways where you're walking and working from dust, and also water. It's protecting the floor. Not totally, it still soaks through to some extent, but it's not puddling up and just getting everything wet if there is a leak. Okay, so with us, whenever we had that uncrimped connection and there was a leak, the ram board caught it and it puddled up right there, and we were able to kind of get it out of here, put a bucket under there, and then just put some fans on it and dry it right up without, you know, getting on the floor or anywhere else in the house, we just don't really want any water. So, okay, so as you see here, this is a little clamp on various spots throughout the attic and the walls. You just want to secure them down with these little clamps to the stud, and that's because these are just super high pressure water lines, and you don't want them just running willy-nilly. You want them tied to a stud so they're not flowing around and causing issues. You want to do those clamps running along rafters and stuff like that, all up in the attic, and also all of your interior and exterior walls. Okay guys, I hope that gave you good insight on what a repipe job actually entails. I hope you got some good tips out of it. We hope to do something a little bit more in depth in the future, but we were on a strict timeline, and so unfortunately we had a lot of the drywall up and we weren't able to show all the connections and all the steps, but I think that gave a pretty good idea as to what goes on and what you need to do. If you have any questions, just comment them down below, and hopefully we can answer them. Thanks for watching.